Can you tell me about the last time you cried and what about?
Last time I cried, I feel I can remember a time I've cried, which was recent or a time, but I can't. I feel the last time I cried was probably at Christmas dinner.
Alright. What was the most difficult period of your life and how did you get through it?
I think it was secondary school was the most difficult period of my life. Like I was saying before, I was just caught up in stuff, and like I was caught up in stuff that I knew that was wrong, but I was caught up in it because of the acceptance. And that's the thing. Like acceptance was a key thing for me at that time because I just wanted acceptance. So it was a thing of like, yeah, go to school, go. And Kingsdale was a bit of a mad school, so it's so easy to get caught up in stuff. And it was like more like acceptance. It's more like, yeah, I'm in this, I'm accepted. Nobody ain't gonna disrespect me. That type of stuff. And because I didn't have that at home. And so like loads of things, like it was really difficult. But I feel like the key thing was more, like I think I started my whole life planning from like year 10. This is the stuff I want to do. I want to be a sports psychologist. Okay, if I don't be a sports psychologist, I'm interested in finance. Okay, maybe finance is a bit, I don't want to do the suit and tie thing. Maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. And I wish to start mapping out my life direction, because my whole concept is that when I'm 16, I'm free. I'm free from all of this. I can move out, I can stay away from people. I can go just literally live the life that I want to live. And so for the last how many years, I've just been living. Like I always say, like there was a comment you made in like one of the, I think maybe third questions, like even though you can plan, like most of the time you're still winging it. Like 95% of the time, I'm always winging it. But just making steps, like, and trying to be my real self. So I've been on that journey for like the last how many years in terms of like, what is my true self? What is my real self? And that's when I started getting interested in like stuff like philosophy and like all this intellectual stuff. And I just thought, bruv, you know what? Everybody gonna die, but I'm gonna give myself my best life of my life. And so I've just been focused on that and trying to give myself that. So that's kind of how I kind of got over it. But I feel like the hardest time was secondary school, trying to find acceptance and really volatile environment, secondary school. So yeah.
Man.
What about you?
The toughest time. I mean, I want to say secondary school as well, because it was horrible. I mean, my whole school life here in England anyway, I just hated it. It was like I knew that school wasn't my vibe. Like, didn't like it. I mean, there were some people that I got along with and that was fine, but I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the way I was learning. I didn't enjoy a lot of the people. Acceptance was an issue as well for me. I came to England at a time when it was not cool to be African. Now everyone's trying to be us. You couldn't be 20 years earlier. Anyway, so it was really difficult. Yeah. But I would say between then and now, I think probably this year, 2017, has been the toughest year of my life. The toughest year. And I don't say that in like a sad, mopey kind of way, because through the difficulty, how I've gotten through it is, number one, I am made like me for a reason. Number two, this story, however it ends, is going to inspire someone. It's going to help someone.
Yeah.
Number three, I'm a man of faith. Like, you didn't bring me this far to just dash me. Like, it doesn't make sense. My spirit doesn't work. It doesn't correlate with that. Do you know what I mean? And I get through by learning how to listen more, learning how to be proactive in an intelligent way, knowing when to relax, when to stop, when to rest. I've adopted things like meditation, running in the morning, doing yoga and stuff like that. Things that our African families would be like, what's that? What are you doing? One of these types of things. And like I said earlier, it's like, instead of leaving the house and spending the whole day figuring out how am I going to keep it together, sometimes be still and then be real about it. Oh, what happened to you? I got invited to my friend's birthday a few months ago, and God bless him, he's a Gemini like me, and he was excited to have me at his birthday and all that kind of stuff. And literally I got dressed and was getting ready to go, and my mind wasn't right. I wasn't feeling okay. So I called him. I said, bro, I'm so sorry. I cannot come. I'm dressed and I'm ready, but I cannot come. My mind is not okay today. I'm not okay today. I'm welling up now because like it's still fresh. Do you know what I mean? And having to kind of like look in the window, the looking glass of your life, and to think, wow, this is hard. You know, if you remember when we were at the retreat, you know, when we were told about what Gethsemane means.
Yeah, the place of pressure.
Right. I've been in that place of pressure. However, again, I get through by listening, and not just listen to words. I listen to life. I listen to things that build me. I listen to people who build me. I spend time with people who appreciate who I am and what I am and what I have to offer. And I owe me getting through things to a lot of prayer and the understanding of people who you just don't expect to be at your aid. And there are human beings in your life. You may know them for years and years and years, and they may claim this and that to be this and that in your life, and they won't even ask you where you put your head at night. Do you know what I mean? They won't even ask you if you put food in your belly, you know, because of one reason or another. And that can add to that difficulty. And to me, that's worse than school because we're adults now. As children, they're kids, right?
Yeah,
you know, there's a whole bunch of brokenness going on here and there, whatever. And, you know, one person's trying to be accepted by this group, another person's trying to be accepted by that group. You can kind of like, you know, deduce and say, okay, you know what, this is the issue right here. But then when you're an adult and everyone has to perform in an adult way and they don't, it really leaves you like, what the fuck? However, I'm definitely in a better space now. And I'm not regretful at all. I feel like I can be open about things. I've also learned wisdom about how to get through this thing without demonizing other people. Yeah, because what happens sometimes is like someone who's like your homie for life, and then they do something bad, and then all of a sudden they turn into the devil. It's like, no, bruv, like that's not how it works. So being able to still observe, you know, the innocence in certain people and the beauty in certain people, and just accepting that sometimes life serves you a certain set of cards and you have to deal with it, and that's just it. And so I think for me, even thinking about that as well, so I think, to make it simple, being mindful has helped me, chilling out a little bit more and staying open. That's what helps me to get through. And of course, prayer. Jesus, like that stuff, like I don't do it enough, but it helps. Yeah.
Has your definition of being a man changed?
No. I've never done well with being told what to do. Whether it's been my mom telling me to wash dishes. I started washing dishes at a certain age, like as in like voluntarily, when I just naturally felt that it's important to keep the kitchen clean. You know, I started making sure that my room was taken care of when I was like, okay, cool, like my mind ain't working right with this mess, so I need to fix it. Same thing with like, you know, how we get fed this image and this message of like, this is what a man is. You know, the cars, the girls, the cribs, and all that kind of stuff. Like, I've never done well with being told what to do. This is about as much jewelry as I wear, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and most times I leave the house without these ones. Washing, I keep this on because like, this is precious to me. But I don't know. My view of being a man hasn't changed. When I was younger, I thought men were supposed to be angry. I thought men were supposed to be aggressive. I thought men were supposed to be dismissive. I thought men were supposed to be the silent type. You know, I got told a lot, you talk too much, you talk too much. Well, how about this? Like, now, as a 29-year-old man, my talking too much is the reason why some people haven't killed themselves. Right. So, I think that's pretty goddamn manly. You know, me being who I am is the reason why some people call me and say, CAS, because of who you are, I can X, Y, Z. Today, I woke up to a message, DM on Twitter, young man who, the last time we had a face-to-face conversation was when he was 14 years old. He's now 24. And we spoke on the phone. And I said to him, Do you remember them days when you used to post those pictures when you're like 15, 16 of you like blowing smoke out of your mouth and all this kind of stuff? And he was like, oh, back then I used to think you were a bit excited, but in hindsight, I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful. This is 9 years on. He's a man now. He's gone through life-altering things, and he's now reassessing who counts, what was I told, what was said to me. And so no one's gonna tell me any different. No, because it pays off. There are people who are alive today because I stuck to my guns, and it's not. I'm not taking it as kudos on me, like yay me. It's a thing of like, you be yourself. You don't let your view of being a man be altered because you don't know whose life you're saving. You don't know whose grave digging you're delaying by doing that. You know what I mean? The way that we are shown what being a man is and stuff, it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
You know, all some of these people on Instagram, like, they live for that stuff, and as soon as they're done posting, bro, they're so miserable. You know, there's another brother who he posts constantly, and you know who you are, and I'll draw you out, bruv. We'll talk about it. He will post certain pictures, like selfies, constantly, happy Negro and all of this stuff and blah, 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 blah. These times, bro, you're depressed. Yeah. How many times have I messaged you and you don't message back because you just don't know what to say back, instead of just saying, CAS, I'm not okay. You know who you are, my G. Like, you know who you are. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, don't follow all of this other stuff that says you must appear to be this and this and this. If you're sad, you're sad. Don't pretend, don't advertise happiness when you don't even know what it feels like. Because you're misleading people. You're not just hurting yourself, but you're misleading people.
Okay.
Me, one morning I woke up and I tweeted and I said, I'm not feeling too great today. Because people are used to my like, good morning and yes, and life is wonderful. But some days it's shit. And I'm sorry, I'll give you two sides of the coin. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you're not quite the man if you're not giving me both sides of the coin. You can't give a man half a coin, bro. So,
has my definition of a man changed? No. I'm still all about being a real man. And I feel like, because, you know, the visual discourse of masculinity that's being pushed right now, it's all aesthetic. Bro, let me hold your head like this because that's me being real. That's nonsense, bro. Like, that's all of that aesthetic bullshit, like flowers in the hair bullshit. Like, that's mad. See, that's bullshit. Like, and I think the key thing is just really and truly it's about being yourself.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to see real men, it's more about putting them in real situations. I took a picture, like I was taking pictures. I took a picture that one of my friends, was it? March for his death, may so rest in peace. And that was men holding hands crying. I don't need to be taking in the studio and put nice lights and fly on your hair and make aesthetic music and say, yeah, this is what the real man is. Get real men in real situations and put them in real rooms. Let them talk. That's where you see real men. And personally, for me, that's what I'm all about. It's real men. Like, if you're gonna be my friend, I'm gonna be accountable to you. Accountability is so important. And I think, like, it's true. Like, I feel like a lot of guys, I'm not gonna lie, you need to G-check your friends because
some of them don't want to get G-checked though.
You know, but accountability is so important as a man, and where you as a man call out another man, like that's, I think, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's my Christian faith, and I think maybe it's because, like, especially for us, like, I feel like Cass can count me for this as a key thing, and what we're kind of, well, I'm not going to say this is generalizing Christian men, but there's a key thing about accountability, what's so important, like, and how you be accountable to one another, and you literally let somebody know, like, brother, you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
But it's okay, brother. I still got love for you.
I got you.
And we can still continue. I think accountability is so important. I know two of my closest friends before I got full that I was cool. And accountability is what's kind of helped us grow as men, calling out each other, saying, bro, what you're doing there is a bit mad, you know.
Yeah.
But praying together, reading together, you know, talking about stuff, just talking about life, you know, I think it's really helpful. So yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie, all my hipster friends and that doing your visual aesthetic thing, need to let it go because it's shit. I've always wanted to say that for long. My girlfriend beats me about this, but I'm saying it now. Shit.
I like this one. Does the inaccuracy of men in the media affect how you see yourself?
Not really, you know. Like, I've been very I've been very like self about myself, and I think it might be maybe my career choice and maybe what I've been interested in. I've been interested in terms of like just product design, architecture, all of these things, and so the architects in the world are people that walk past the street and they don't know them, and they're very up in their feelings and talk about like process and methodology about life and stuff, and they're very like, and I think generally, so I've not really looked at like media and say, yeah, this is how my man's doing this thing, and I don't know. I think it might be an ego thing or arrogance, but I'm the shit, man. So I'm not really, I don't really look at people in the media. I think that's the key thing though that I've made clear. And I said this at a panel event when we were talking about social media, and I was speaking on a panel and I said, look, I'm not going to lie to you. There's influencers and there's influenced.
Yeah.
Majority of people are influenced and majority of people are influencer. And I've always kind of seen myself as an influencer because of maybe just how the world has positioned that. And so for my head, I just thought, when I influence, I'm influence honesty, realness. I'm always tell the truth. I'm go to events and people ask me to talk about business. I'm gonna tell you about days when I had 48p in my account and Richard sent me 30p to buy 78p biscuits.
Right.
And we're drinking it with tea with no milk.
Right.
Because, you know, that type of thing. I don't really, like all the entrepreneur pictures, like Donny's, I'm thinking, bro, and there you go, man. But, so I don't really get caught up in the media. So this is the shortest answer of this whole talk, probably, but nah.
Same. As like, most of the people who portray what they portray, they don't really live like that anyway. You know, again, I'm the man that a lot of men come to and talk to and open up to, and credit to them, they're honest with me and they show me the real. But then at the same time, when they start to do this whole portrayal of like, this is who and what I am, when I know it ain't the truth, I draw them out. And so no, like I'm not affected by the inaccuracy of what being a man looks like. I just know that it's inaccurate, and I just have to dedicate myself to do everything I can for myself. I'm not on some crusade to change it. I'm just myself, and if I can inspire one brother to be more himself and to not really care about that stuff, then the better. I met a guy the other day at a men's empowerment event actually, and we had to write down something about ourselves, like something that you may not really like, or just one of those like deep dark secrets. And this guy who was next to me, because of his vibrance and his energy and his overall just beauty as a human being, like he wrote down, I don't feel like I'm good enough. Based on what? Based on what? Based on who? You know? And I'm not angry at him. I'm just like, based on what? There's some of the people who would judge me for not being so manly. You've never saved a life in your life. Like, you've never been a listening ear to certain men. So I will be exactly who I am, and I'm not affected by the inaccuracy. I'm not going to try and buy that house or buy that car because the next man has it. I'm not going to try and get that. Like, I have a lane and I quite like it, and I'm going to stay in it.
The highest suicide rate in the UK was for men aged 40, between age 40 and 44. The highest suicide rate in the Republican Island was for men between the age of 25 and 34.
Male rates remain consistently higher than female suicide rates across the UK and the Republic of Ireland.
Have you ever considered suicide as an option?
No. I learned very early that that's not the way. And let this not be mistaken as some kind of judgment on those who do experience those thoughts and those feelings, because it is a real thing. And I have spoken to people who have considered it. I've had to have the very unpleasant task of having to talk someone down from ending their own life. And it's not fun, it's not cool. And just kind of looking into their sadness and their pain. I genuinely believe that I am built different and they are built different. It's never, ever been an option for me. I can't imagine. No. It doesn't matter how sad I've been, and I've been sad. Like, I've been upset. I've been through depression. I've experienced those things, but I just cannot see it as an option for me.
Yeah. I think there was a time in 2012 when I kind of floated the idea. I don't think I was like, yeah, I'm going to take suicide, but I think I was like, asking questions if this life is worth living. And I think it was like I said, from like childhood to like 19, very unstable for me. And so 2012 was like a unstable stage. Like my grandparents weren't in the country. And so I didn't have
like your pillar.
Yeah, they're like I still they're my real G's. Like, and
that's like your soft spot, Alex.
Yeah, that's
no.
Yeah. My grandparents.
I got you now.
Those are my dogs, and so it was peak, bruv. Like, I didn't really know how to like deal with stuff, and things just going on. And I just but I've never like thought about the idea. It's never come to my mind. But I think the key thing is more to talk about it, because like the rates of suicide is alarming. Media research is like raw. And that's obviously because of standard, this, that, you can't open up, you can't speak. So there was a project interesting that was done by University of, I'm probably going to say it wrong, 2020. And they basically went to work on a project in Australia. And it was like in Australia, one of the suicide rates was really high. And essentially they thought, how can we, and in Australia, there's a culture of a man goes to his shed, and he goes to his garden shed and he works on stuff in his garden shed. So what they did is that they went to a park and designed, I'm probably saying this wrong, please forgive me, but they designed sheds. And in that sheds, they basically got men to come and sit down and just talk.
I like that's a good idea.
Just talk.
Yeah.
I feel like, we're not taught to talk. Like I think I saw some tweet like how do you like some can really and truly, how many of us can really go to our other male friends and talk about some deep shit? They've probably not even thought about it themselves.
Yeah.
And and essentially like the key thing is probably more visibility of individuals like us, and say, look, I'm not gonna lie, I'm living my best life being carefree and I ain't got flowers in my hair, but I'm happy, like, what I'm saying. Obviously there's still a bigger direction for me, but the key thing, like, I go through anxiety all the time. I moved to a new office space today and I was having an anxiety attack sitting there talking to a killer, and I'm like, yo bro, man, my chest is tight. Yo bro, my chest is a bit tight. I was sitting there so confused, like I'm meant to be happy and I'm just sitting there like, oh shit, new office space, more pressure. Damn, I need to, and it was good to have a kill there. Like I could go to a kill and say, bro, I was anxious, and then he basically says to me, bro, you understand, this is the life you chose, and deal with your anxiety and then come back and work. But having that is so helpful, because and I feel like, we do need to create open spaces for us to feel free, like to talk, like to break away from these standards, man. Like standards have done these, just, I don't know, but I'm not an expert in suicide, but I do believe if we can be more visible, saying like, anyone wants to reach out to me, I'm there to listen. Remember in the retreat when someone admitted to lying about an addiction he had. Yeah. And I was like, bro,
we all got an addiction, man. We dying from something. Yeah. When he said that, everyone in the room was like, when he said what it was, everyone in the room was like, come on, bro. Like, it's calm, man. It's all right. It's all right. That's sometimes when I hear about someone like throwing themselves in front of the train, and then like you read the story in the paper, like what was going on, and then you find out like maybe they were like 40, 50 grand in debt, and I don't mean this to be insensitive at all, but in my immediate reaction is kind of like, bro, we could have discussed £50,000. We could have discussed the insignificance of £50,000 compared to your life. We could have had this conversation, and I don't say this to undermine anyone who goes through suicidal experiences or thoughts and all that kind of stuff. I saw a guy at London Bridge the other day and the police officer was holding his hand, like just obviously, but really gently, just trying to get him to come down. And then, you know, a few days later, another friend of mine, you know, we just finished brunch where like we had this really empowering conversation, and and suicide came up in that discussion, and literally he texted me and said, there's a guy in Seven Sisters trying to take his life right now. Like, it is happening everywhere. It is happening a lot. And like, if we could just have a conversation and say like, so we can just put things into perspective and say like, listen, you know, we know people who are like 100,000 pounds in debt. We know people who are dealing with like certain illnesses and they need to be counseled through. We know people who are dealing with battles with their sexuality. That's a big one amongst men. And again, this whole like, be super masculine thing, whatever. And certain men who are on road are hollering other man. Have a conversation about it, bro. Like it's deep, I get it. But but compared to your life, compared to what you're here for, compared to what good you can do in this world, do you know what I mean? So again, I don't want to make it seem like as if I'm downplaying it or undermining it, but at the same time, it's like your life is worth so much more than a seasonal battle, a financial constraint, a character flaw. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the key thing is, talk about it, and I think
yeah.
So, I mean, it's them. I am not crying, but
yeah,
but I think that made me laugh, man. But I think...
Can you share a piece of advice you would give to other men?
I think the first thing first is I always say to people when people tell me they want to do stuff, like I always say you need to know who you are, and who you are is not what you do. And I think a lot of men put a lot of pride in what you do. What we do is an American thing that's pushed by capitalism. And first thing first, you need to understand who you are. When you understand who you are, you understand your truth. And I feel the key thing is to understand your truth. And I feel the key thing as well, guys, I'm not going to lie, find friends that you can speak to about the deepest shit. They're not going to say one word answers or stuff like that, but guys that you can be accountable to in terms of like your true self. Because one of the issues, like, I wanted to run like men stuff, and I thought to myself, nah, because I don't think a lot of men will come because they won't be business orientated or they won't be this. It'll be about themselves. And I feel the key thing is more to focus on yourself first before that girl that you're thinking about texting or calling, bro, know yourself first, man. Self-awareness is so important. And just talk, like find people that you can talk to. Talking goes a long way. And yeah, that's my piece of advice.
I've got 2 pieces of advice. Number 1, fall in love with yourself, man. Like fall in love, like you want to be able to look at yourself and be mesmerized at who you are. Like, for real, there is nothing wrong with it. Fall in love with your ugliest self, your rawest self, the most unrefined self. It's hard, definitely easier said than done, but trust me, fall in love with yourself and be open about it, because what it does is it reveals those that are for you, for your realest self, and those that are against you for your realest self. You will discover that there will be people who love you for it because you're yourself. And there will be people who despise you, maybe even hate you for it because you're yourself. But count it joy, man. Because falling in love with yourself is the that's the primary need. The second thing is be okay with not being cool. Be okay with not being okay. It happens. It's not every day be on top of the world. It's not every day motivational quotes. It's not every day, like, you can do it, dig deep. Nah, dead. Sometimes you feel shit. Fact. Fall in love with yourself and accept that you're going to have off days. It's not always going to be all rosy. It's not going to be always all good, and I think, it certainly makes me happy. Do you know what I mean? It's not always easy, don't get me wrong. It's not always a walk in the park, but definitely I picked that path before any of the path. Loving yourself for real and being okay with not being okay.
Can you tell me about the first time you fell in love? How did you know you were in love? And how did you feel about it?
Ooh. So when we say fall in love, we're talking about when you're in primary school?
Like, no, so I mean, like, generally.
Oh, you felt like you
like
believe.
Yeah, like.